Great to be here, guys. What are we? Monday, July 13th, 2020. Second half of the year. Q3 has started. Really excited about our guest today. He's been on the show before, and it was one of our best shows. Might have been our best show. I am biased because he is related to me. We are first cousins, but he's a fantastic fellow, great gentleman, and a scholar of the accounting practice. Really excited to have him on. Let's bring him in right now. Julien Grenier. He is a partner. He's a CPA. He's a CGA. He's agricultural team manager, and he's a partner at Talbot Associates. Bienvenue. Welcome, Julien.
Hey, Rob. Happy to be here.
Yeah, last time was a fun one. I'm Rob Tatro from robtatro.com, portfolio manager here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management and at the Tatro Wealth Advisory Group. If you're watching on YouTube, take a second to subscribe. We are approaching 2,000 subscribers, and I would love to get there soon. 2,000 would be great. If you're watching on Facebook, share. We appreciate you guys following, and we love you guys, our viewers. Sorry, I kind of half interrupted you, Julien. I apologize for that. We had a good chat last time. It was a fun one, which is why you're back on the show.
Yeah, you know what? It was a whirlwind time last time I was on. I think we were both working from our basements, and it's really cool to see the production value, the intro, all that kind of stuff. Really fun. So you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Good to have you back on the show. Pretty thrilled. Thrilled is the right word because this is confusing and a lot of people do not get this stuff. I don't even understand all of it. So I'm really glad to have you on the show here, Julien Grenier. If you'd like to book a no obligation consultation with us, don't forget to go to www.speaktorob.com. We'd love to book something for you. Julien, your website, I believe, is you just Google Talbot Associates. You'll find Julien. And there it is at the bottom. Look at that, Diego.
Very nice.
Yeah. Pretty slick. I want to talk now about a CERB. This has been a word that's been tossed around a ton, and you mentioned it earlier in the show already. CERB, what is it doing? What is it doing to our students? What is it doing to young adults that are struggling out there? Let's go again over CERB, what it is, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, and take us through what it is and what we're seeing.
So basically the CERB was basically for anyone who lost their job due to COVID-19, got this CERB benefit, which is $2,000 for every 4-week period, which again was great to get money out to people who needed it at the time. But now in a lot of places, we're kind of seeing the reverse problem, like I mentioned earlier. Employers competing against CERB to try and entice people to get back to work. So I know again, at the federal level, they are looking for I was listening, the Conservatives were asking for the Liberals to kind of put something, a return to work program in. It's still unclear if they will, but like, again, each province is tackling their problems separately. In Manitoba, they introduced the Manitoba Job Restart Program, or the MJRP. That's actually fairly new. Which essentially will give you $500 if you say, okay, I don't have to go back to work, but I'm gonna choose to go back to work. The Manitoba government will give you $500 as soon as you get a job, and then they'll continue biweekly payments over the next 6 weeks after that. So basically another $2,000 or equal to one CERB check, just to kind of get you back rolling, get you back going, to get you working in the economy again.
The CERB allows you to make, what is it, $1,000 part-time?
Well, it would be $2,000 a month, basically.
Right, but you can still qualify for CERB if you're making $990, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you make $1,000 in the month, you can still or get the CERB. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who owns a landscaping company. He was telling me how hard it is for them to get employment now, because it's a lot easier to just stay at home and play your video games, work, a few days a month, make less than $1,000, then you get $2,000 topped up. You're making $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. For a lot of these jobs are, the equivalent of $18 an hour, and they're barely working. So, it's definitely an issue.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see some companies get really creative, restaurants, things like that, saying, "Hey, look, we'll schedule you out so you don't make more than $1,000 a month, so you can stay on CERB." Right. So we see that. But again, that's not necessarily the spirit of what CERB was created for in the first place. I don't blame the employers, because otherwise they don't have people to work in their restaurants or whatever. But again, like I said, it's not what CERB was designed for. I like to see these job restart programs and things like that, because to me, you can't stay on CERB forever, right? It's not sustainable. but like I said, at the beginning, it was great to get the money out. Now and again, right, we have a problem that's Canada wide, right? How do you say, okay, well, Manitoba, you can go back to work because your cases have been zero for the past 14 days, and then you got Montreal that maybe it's not safe to go back to work, and they still need the CERB, but you can't take away CERB from Manitobans when it's still in a different province, right? So it's definitely difficult, and I can appreciate the challenge, which is, like I said, why I really like the Manitoba Job Restart Program. I think it's good. And I mean, like you have, like, people have a heart for the things that they see, right? And I see businesses trying to get employees working for them, right? And they can't, and they have reduced sales, and maybe their sales are down 29%, so they don't qualify for CEWS, and they can't get someone to work for them. So it's tough. It's tough out there for sure.
I mean, and someone's got to pay for that, right? Like someone's, and the bottom line is it's got to come in tax dollars at some point, or recovery somewhere. Ottawa announced, there's an article here on CBC recently that Ottawa is going to post a $343 billion deficit. Spending hits levels not seen since the Second World War. Our debt load is going to hit 1.2 trillion next year. So this is, I believe it's about 18% of the GDP. So these are numbers this is like wartime numbers, right? This is when, we're rolling up our sleeves and we're willing to sacrifice everything to kind of, beat the enemy at hand, which was the world wars in the past. And this is a new form of war, I guess, I would imagine. But yeah, we're going to have to pay for that. Top tax rate in Manitoba is 50.4%. I mean, I would not be surprised to see a bump in both federal and provincial tax rates to pay for COVID, right? Someone's got to pay for this.
Absolutely, right, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, like, what we've seen is unlike a lot of what we've ever seen before, right? Like you said, similar to war times. Again, it's not ideal. It's not. No one wants to go to war. No one wants to have a pandemic, but we got to rally together. We got to do something. We're all got to pay our parts, and kudos to the people trying to figure it out, right? It's not easy to.
I actually think they handled it pretty well off the bat. Like Canada's handling tax-wise and benefits-wise I think it was pretty good. I mean, nothing was perfect, but I mean, it got money into the hands of people who needed it relatively quick order. So
Agreed. And it's never going to be perfect, right? There's always going to be gaps. There's always going to be people who are left out or getting benefits where they shouldn't be or whatever. But by and large, I feel like they did a pretty good job.
Let's talk about the CESB, the Canada Emergency Student Benefit. So this is for students, correct? And they don't qualify for EI or CERB.
Correct. So these people wouldn't have been working; they would have been in school. So basically, $1,250 for students that are in post-secondary, basically college, university. So they weren't working. They didn't qualify for CERB. They weren't getting EI. So $1,250 for those students. So and then you get an extra top up of $750 if you're disabled. Okay. So this is also continuing side by side with CERB. Again, no indication as to whether it's going to stop or not. I think we'll see a lot change depending on what the schools do, if they're going to have people come back to the.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with schools?
With schools, yeah, I mean, like it's interesting, right? So because they've done all this work to put their classes online, and they've adapted and all this kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, it's hard to see people just rushing back to school. I think they'll take their time. I think by assuming no major influx in pandemic, I think we'll see them go back to regular classes in, post-Christmas break kind of thing. But at this point, they've already adapted. They're already online again. But there is something to be said about being in class, making those connections at university, and I'm sure you probably still have friends from university today, Rob, right? So I think in-class sessions is something we'll see again in the future.
Yeah, my wife's a teacher, and they, I mean, the hard part, I think, is that you also have to teach those kids at home, right? So if you're working and you have a family, we have 4 kids, so like I know how hard it was for my wife during COVID teaching. So you're teaching remotely, and then you're also teaching your own kids at home. It's I know it was very, very tough, and it's a lot of work. And I So much props out there to the teachers that are doing this, because it is not easy. I have some buddies that are teachers, and they were telling me some of the stuff they're going through. They were telling me about smaller class sizes, distancing in the classrooms and stuff that they're talking about doing in September. So kind of curious to see how that's going to go down.
Yeah, and there's so many heroes in this story. Teachers, absolutely hats off to them. They completely changed the way they had to work. Your frontline workers, all that kind of stuff. Like it's incredible. Like I was talking about how blessed we were with our team and how well they've adapted and things like that. But every industry has had to adapt quickly, and they did, and it's amazing, right? Like you can still go to the grocery store, you can still do all the things that you used to be able to do, but just a little bit different.
Accountants,
yeah.
No, you guys are important though, seriously.
No.
Student funding. You want to talk a bit more about some other topics, Julien?
Well, and I think the other things here, again, student funding, student loans, like any loans, mortgage, interest rates, right? Those were one of the first ones that kind of got deferred, all that kind of thing. So I mean, if there's any questions about it, I'd feel free to shoot me an email or something like that. But again, those ones are kind of your first types benefit. Increases to Canada Child Benefit. People should have already received their checks already. Same for GST. Seniors came a little bit after those guys. So seniors are receiving an extra a few $100 a month as well, just to help with some of the challenges that they're all facing, right? So again, those ones you don't have to apply for. They're just available to you.